Tim Leiweke, Dave Nonis, Masai Ujiri, Tim Bezbachenko, all in the studio. The suits from Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. So we got in. We're at the end of the last break. We're talking a little bit about Toronto and selling it. And Masai, you were saying he thought it was kind of stupid. We spend too much time talking about all the negatives, potential negatives in Toronto and whatever. On a personal level, what do you like best about Toronto? I mean, I know you were here before. Then you left. Now you've come back. What is it about this city that you like? Like, if you're going to sell this to somebody, I mean, where do you start?
I think the people. I don't know. It's unique. It's funny. The people are friendly. They're warm. I think they're engaging. It's unique that you can meet like people from all kinds of backgrounds here. There's so many things to sell on this city, and I witnessed it my first 3 years here, and it always stuck to me. And I lived in the Soho, and I hardly left the Soho because I just enjoyed. I lived in the apartments in the condos in the Soho hotel, and just that area alone was just so unique. I'd go down to
you got half the world there, really.
Exactly.
People from everywhere.
From everywhere. And I didn't even know where I live now existed, just from that. And it's for me that's very, very it's very catching. You don't it's not that there are many places you go and it's not that engaging, here it is. And beautiful people, great people.
So what you're saying is you hated Denver and you were happy to come back to Toronto. So good. I'm paraphrasing.
I didn't say that.
So now you're a Vancouver guy, right?
Yeah, I am.
The problem with Vancouver guys is they think that Vancouver is the best place in the world and everything else is irrelevant. Are you going to tell us that?
No.
So you actually like it here?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, what is it about Toronto?
I agree with Masai. It's the city's beautiful. I mean, Vancouver's a gorgeous city. I can't say that it's not. But I would tell you from a hockey team standpoint or hockey executive, it's the engagement of the people. Everyone in Toronto is a hockey fan. They're maybe not all Leaf fans, but if I'm trying to get a free agent to come here, it's the easiest thing to sell is that you're in a market where everybody is watching what you do, where everyone is interested in what you do.
Easier than Vancouver?
In what way?
I don't know. Is it if you're trying to lure a player?
I think
you got a lot
yes.
to sell in Vancouver, though.
Yeah, you do. I think Masai's hit the nail on the head. I think that if when we're able to have a consistent contender, I think it's pretty difficult to turn down an original six team in this kind of a market with this fan base. So I don't think there's anything like this.
So Tim, you got to be careful because you're a Columbus, Ohio guy. I'm a Columbus, Ohio guy.
Really?
Yeah. So you can't tell me stories about your hometown that I can't dispute. You haven't been here a whole long time, but what do you like about it? Or what don't you like about it? I mean, you hate the winter. We all do.
Well, I haven't lived in Columbus for a number of years, but
Me neither.
I've been living in New York City the last 5 years, and so, when we decided to move to Toronto, we thought it was a more livable city. So New York, it has a lot to offer, but after a number of years, when you've done that, when you try to, a lot of the restaurants, you start fighting the city, as we say, and you're walking, and when it's cold, you don't have a car, and so you're just always fighting the city. When you come to Toronto, it has nearly everything that New York City has in terms of the center and the focus of a country, but you're not fighting the city except for the traffic.
Yeah, well, traffic everywhere.
But besides that, I think it's just a fantastic place to live. So the players, it's not hard to sell at all, just because the market is so big and there's the passion, and we've educated soccer fans here actually too. So,
Tim Leiweke, Toronto versus Los Angeles, your most recent stop, and you were there for quite a while, right?
Almost 19 years.
Yeah. Still LA guy, becoming a Toronto guy, trying to figure this city out?
No, I live downtown, love the subway system. I know everyone likes to abuse it. I haven't been in my car here in over a month. Love the restaurants. The people are kind. The thing that's amazing here is the teams are all relevant. The amount of coverage that we get, the passion people have for the teams, and by the way, the intensity. So I like that. I like people that care about what we're trying to do, have an opinion about what we're trying to do most of the time. There are sometimes after a loss, that subway ride could be a little bit long, but it's the people here really care, and they go out of their way to let you know that. That said, during the winter, you'd be a fool not to admit that LA's weather might be slightly more engaging than what we're dealing with here during the winter. But so be it. Our summers are better.
Well, I think that's fair to say, especially this winter. It's certainly fair to say. I think at least two of the guys at this table would acknowledge that this is the unusual winter. This is not normally what we get here. We may get some snow, but we also get it. It also gets warm from time to time during the winter, and it melts. And
is that soon? We're hoping.
Oh,
They keep telling us that, Bob.
Yeah. We're lucky we weren't trying to get Defoe and Bradley during this streak here.
Yeah. So let's address that from this perspective. Now that Leiweke has spent all of the money that the organization has, is there anything left for you, Nonis?
Yeah, we've never been asked to cut back, so it's we're very fortunate with what we have available to us.
So them writing a check for $100 million or a bunch of checks for $100 million is of no consequence to you. In fact, maybe it's a good thing, because if you need any money at any period of time, you can do a quid pro quo.
We've never been in a situation. First of all, we have a cap, so there's only so much money we can spend. But we've never been in a situation where we've gone to the board and said, "This is what we'd like to do," and they've said, "Nah, I don't think so." We've been very fortunate here.
So I want to take a second here, and you two guys at the end, kind of, and briefly, if you can, just give me the start of this. Your idea, somebody else, like how big do you want to go with this soccer thing? We have to change the culture. What's the genesis of this? Because it was quite a remarkable story.
For me, believe it or not, it was a single moment where we could change the culture of the entire organization, including all the teams. So believe it or not, I went to Dave early on and said, here's what I'm going to do, and here's why it's going to impact the Leafs. And I talked to Masai a lot about, here's what I'm going to do, and it's going to have a big impact. And in fact, the day before, I called Dave and said, here's what we're going to announce, and here's what they're going to say about the Leafs, and here's what I'm going to respond to when they ask me about the Leafs. It was a moment to show everyone that this image that we had of being maybe driven by the bottom line, only counting the pennies, just trying to ultimately make as much money as we can, that's not what this organization is today. We truly want to win. Our owners truly want to win. The two parent companies that we have with Rogers and Bell, all they ever ask me about at board meetings is, well, does this help us win? Will this make us better? How long is it going to take us to turn this around? So we came in and looked at the soccer team, and it amazed me. I think I'm trying not to get anyone mad at me today. It's hard. I haven't had a day yet in Toronto where someone's not mad at me. But we took the fans for granted, and we dipped our toe in the water, and we did little things because we were either afraid of making the big decision or thought we could get away with the little decision. And the one thing we decided after watching this team and going to games, and I'd sit with the fans, and I was embarrassed. It was just embarrassing what we had done to once the best franchise in all of Major League Soccer. And at the end, I got tired of the excuses, and I got tired of people that were afraid of saying we could be much better than this. We're going to take a big, bold move. And I knew that if we could use this moment with TFC to set the tone, the Leafs and the Raptors and all of their fans should take notice that the way we view the world now is when we could think big, and they're both going to have moments of thinking big. By the way, Dave spent more money this season than Tim has, and we supported it 100%, and he was dead on straight. And I'm absolutely waiting for the day that Masai comes in and we get a chance to go get a guy or two, and we'll do it. But we, with TFC, had the chance to go make up for the years of abuse that we had put upon the fans, prove to everybody in town that we were not going to be about the bottom line and counting pennies. We could make money and still be bold and spend it. And finally, the two best players that we could have gotten were the two guys we ended up getting. And I think to our organization and the young kids that make up Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, they were in awe that we ended up pulling it off. And they sat there and they were amazed that we were able to convince those two guys to come to Toronto and be a part of this team. And it's the best thing that's happened to this organization because now everyone knows we could do anything we put our minds to.
I don't think it's a stretch to say almost everybody in the city was amazed, myself included. Were you? Were you surprised that you guys could pull this off?
I hate to say this because I also had one of my young employees the other day say, I'm not sure if you're just very confident or arrogant. And I said, well, I hope it's confidence because I don't want to be arrogant. No.
You're not surprised?
Nope. I knew we were going to do it. From the day I started talking to Struan Marshall, who's the agent for Defoe, and I
basically told you no.
Yeah, he told me no, and Tottenham told me no. And in fact, even Tim sat in the meeting the first time we met with Daniel and said, that didn't go so well. And I'm like, he's ours.
Interesting watching Tim Leiweke and Daniel Levy, one of the most, composed negotiators in the world, sit across each other trying to outdo each other. It was very interesting.
It's a long conversation for another day, and I know there was a very interesting and well done piece in the Toronto Star. I assume you saw it.
I thought he actually was extremely well written.
Yeah, documenting the whole process, and I read it with great interest. Another day, we'll sit down and maybe have a nice long conversation about that. Leiweke is already campaigning for a weekly or a monthly show with all of you guys.
Whenever you have us, we'll be here.
Well, listen, thank you very much. It's a unique opportunity for us, and most importantly, it's a unique opportunity for the audience and for your fans, of all your fans, to get to see you in this context especially. Thanks a lot for taking time. I know it wasn't easy putting this together. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Tim Leiweke, Dave Nonis, Masai Ujiri, Tim Bezbachenko, all with us on Primetime.